This is my favorite book of the year. I'm calling that now because it's also one of my favorite books of the decade. It is a love story. Some people are struggling to call it a romance, and I understand that. Even though romance is a huge part of this book, the happily ever after is debatable. That said, I consider it a happily ever after. I think a lot of readers would consider it a happily ever after. I also think a lot of readers wouldn't. It is a very raw book. It's going to talk about a lot of serious topics. The characters are deeply flawed. They feel very human. It's incredibly impressive. Every detail is very thought out. I absolutely loved this book. The critiques I have seen have mostly been about like how the characters treat each other. And I totally understand that critique. That critique is valid. At the same time, this book takes place in the early aughts. And I think that if you're going to go into this book, you need to keep in mind that this is the early aughts. Not everybody was talking about mental health. Mental health treatment was not as accessible. There was not words like love bombing, ghosting, trauma bonding. All of those things were not words that tools that people had. I grew up in this era. I felt transported back to this era, and the book itself relies a lot on like the media that was happening back then, the TV shows, the writer strikes, 9/11, those cultural effects that we were all living through. So to me, this book reached my soul, and I love it so much. There's so many, it's so rare to see a book that reaches you so deeply. So to me, I would absolutely 10 out of 10 stars recommend this book, especially if you're looking for someone who almost takes like a miscommunication trope and really does it well and deeply, where we don't hear each other even when we're trying to hear each other because we are listening through the lens of trauma. And that is such a deeply important message to get across. If I had to call this book in 3 words, I'd just say it's a beautiful, heartbreaking hairdryer. And you'll understand what I mean by that when you read this book. I hope you enjoy it.